8.3 is now on calculating not the circumference of a circle, but the area of a circle. And before we get rolling, I just want to kind of describe the the difference between area and circumference. So when we look at a circle and we're calculating circumference, circumference is this distance. It's a straight distance all the way around, right? It's basically linear. We could take this line, stringy line, and we can string it out like that. It's just a flat distance, okay? And that's why our units, when we calculate circumference, end up being something like centimeters, or just meters, or kilometers, or millimeters, right? But area is a little bit different. It's not terribly different, but there's definitely a difference. So when we're calculating area, we are calculating this whole area of a circle, area of anything really, but this one's of a circle. So area of a circle is all the space on the inside, all this in here. So when we end up with a measurement at the end of it all, we don't just have centimeters, we have centimeters squared. And probably the easier way to show you that is with a square. So when you're finding the length of a side, right? Like this part of a square, it's linear. It's one edge, right? It's just flat. If we are calculating the area of it, it is something like base times height, right? And that's 2 dimensions. If it's just linear, that's 1 dimension. If you get base and height, that's 2 dimensions. In grade 8, you're going to look at a cube like this, right? And you have base and I don't know what this is, width and height. That's 3 dimensions. So that one's going to be like centimeters cubed because there's 3 dimensions. And so I just kind of want you to keep that in mind. So when we're doing area, area is a 2-dimensional measure, and your units will always be squared. So that's very important to remember. All right, enough rambling. So area is the amount of space. Oh, there it is right there, in a 2D figure. So here's the formula. It is sort of the same, not really, no, okay. There's the formula. So let's break it down a little bit. So A obviously stands for area, and it's an uppercase A that stands for area. Pi symbol is still the same. And in this case, when we're finding an area, we're multiplying by radius squared. That little 2 up top there means it's radius squared. Okay. So let me go over that, because at grade 7, there's a lot of kids that don't really understand this whole idea of what squared means. So when you see 3 squared like that, that does not mean 3 times 2. It means that the 3 is going to be multiplied by itself twice. So there's going to be 2 of them. So it's 3 times 3. Okay. If it was 4 squared, be 4 times 4. If it was 5 squared, it would be what? That's right, 5 times 5. If it was 6 squared, it would be 6 times 6. Now, actually, let me just see how smart you are here. What if we did 4 cubed? What would that be? 4 times 4 times 4. Look at that. 1, 2, 3 fours. Okay. What if it was 6 to the exponent of 4? What would that be? 6 times 6 times 6 times 6. So that's how exponents work. Now, in what we're doing right now, we won't ever do anything past 4 squared. When you get to grade 8, they do some more stuff with cubed, because they're calculating volume instead of area. But for our purposes, it'll just be 4 squared. But I just wanted to show you that. Okay, so here's your first example. So you have a circle, and it says the radius is 4 millimeters. Just a little gaffer. Okay, and we want to find the area. And remember, area is, what is area again? It's this whole space in here, right? It's everything in here. So first thing you always do is you put down your formula. Then you start plugging in numbers. We got 3.14 for pi, and our radius is 4 millimeters. So there's our 4. But remember, it's radius squared. So this is 4 squared. What does 4 squared mean again? 4 times 4. That's right. Not 4 times 2. It's 4 times 4. Okay, that brings us to our next step. So we always do exponents first before we do any multiplying or dividing or anything like that. Okay, so next step, we still have 3.14 times because we haven't done anything with it, right? We just did our exponent. So 4 squared down to, which gives us 16. Now we multiply these two, and we get 50 and 24 100ths. And check out my units. It's not just millimeters, it's millimeters squared. Remember, because area is a two-dimensional measure. It's measuring 2 dimensions, not just one. Okay, so our answer will always be squared. Okay, is there another example here? Good. Example 2. So here's our circle. Has a, what is this? Distance all the way across the circle. What is that? That is diameter. Okay, so this is diameter. Okay, so first, our formula. We always put our formula down. Area equals pi times radius squared. Then we start plugging numbers in. Pi is 3.14. Our radius, it only gives us diameter. How do you get radius from diameter? Good. You divide it by 2 to get your radius. So 12 divided by 2 is 6. You betcha. So I plugged that in. 6 centimeters. But remember, it's radius squared, so we got to take our 6. We have to square it. That means it's 6 times 6. That's correct, which gives you 36. Okay, so in our next step, we got 3.14 times 36 centimeters squared. Remember, because we went from there to there. And then you just multiply those together, and you get 113 and 4 100ths of a centimeter squared. Don't forget the squared. Okay, and then there's 2 for you to do here. I think I'll do both of these. How am I doing for time here? Oh yeah, no problem. So pause this video, and then I'm going to cruise through these 2 because I don't want this video to be too long. So pause. All right, here we go. First of all, get your formula down. Area equals pi times radius squared. Okay, if you don't write your formula down, then that just increases your chance of messing up here. Okay, and then you just start plugging numbers in. So pi is 3.14 times my radius. Well, it says here my diameter is 18, so I cut that in half. That gives me 9 meters. We take that 9 and we square it, don't we? Okay, that gives us 3.14, because we got to do this exponent first times. What's 9 times 9? You should know this one. 81 meters squared. Then we plug that in. So 3.14 times 81 equals 254 and 34 100ths of a meter squared. Okay. All right. Next one. Let me change colors. Okay, we're still finding area, right? So we're going to go area equals pi times radius squared. Okay, what am I calculating here? It doesn't even tell me the area of the circle. Oh yeah, we are. Okay, so we have a few things here. First of all, we're looking at the area of this whole circle. So I have this whole distance, which I don't want, right? I want the distance. I'm going to change colors again here. I'm going to go to red. I want this distance. So from the middle to there, right? So I need half of this. Half of this one here is, half of that would be our 50 meters plus another 5. So our radius is 55 meters. Pretty smart, eh? Okay, so we start plugging numbers in. 3.14 times radius, 55 square meters. It's going to be a big number. Just go down here so I have more room. So 3.14. We got to do 55 times 55. Can you do that in your head? I don't think I can. I should be able to. 55 times 55 equals 3,025. It's a big one, hey? 25 meters squared. Okay. Then we can multiply it by 3.14. And you should get a whopping 9,400. Oops, there we go. 498 and 5/10 of a meter squared. Now, you might have to, I went over those quick, so back up the video, go over it, a couple more times until you kind of see what's going on. Especially with this one here, because, there's a few different things happening there that we had to do. All right, there you have it.